All right, section 4.2 talks about reflections. And so the first poem here says, given triangle ABC and its image, triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, find the line of reflection. So in essence, what we're looking for is how did how did this triangle here get reflected so that we have something like this? And I want you to think about the word reflection. Like when you look in a mirror, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you how we're going to do this problem so that you can kind of get an idea. And what we're looking for is, if you think about a mirror, when you look at yourself in the mirror, like, so I'm going to try to draw, I'm not a very good artist, guys, so you probably know that by now. But I will draw a mirror, say just a line that looks like this, okay? And suppose, you look at my stick figure, I'm right here. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm just going to make this up. Suppose from here to here is about 3 feet. Then my image should be about 3 feet in the mirror, right? So if I look at myself, I'm 3 feet in the mirror. My mirror image looks like I'm 3 feet back, right? So that mirror is kind of like my halfway point, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, look, let's draw a little segment from here to here. And let's look for the line that goes right in the little midpoint. And then let's draw another one that goes from here to here. And let's do our little midpoint there. And then let's draw a line that goes from here to here. And let's find our midpoint that goes right there. And then the line of reflection would be the line that goes through these points. And then I would say, well, I don't really need, sorry, let me get my pen going again. Get rid of that line, and that line right there, okay? So I'm going to show you now, how does this work when you're doing this on my math lab, okay? So give me 1 second. Here we go. So similar type of problem, okay? And so I'm going to do this here. I'm going to click to enlarge the graph, okay? And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take my line feature. I'm going to put a point on A. Oops. Clear that out, yes. Put my point on A, oops, get back to the line. Point on A, another one on A prime. Now, the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a dotted line, okay? The reason I need to make it a dotted line, because I have to do this 3 times, and if I do a solid line, it only lets me do it once, okay? So I'm going to come back again. I'm going to put a point right here on B, another one there on B prime, make it dotted again, okay? I'm going to do this a 3rd time. I'm going to put a point right here. Get my pen going again, it's freezing up. There we go. My point on C prime, make it dotted, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my line feature again, and I'm going to look for what's right in the middle, right about there. Right about, oops. Let me delete that line, yes. Do it again. Sorry guys. My hand is shaking. Let's see, right about there, and let's go right about there. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to select this line here, the dotted lines, and I'm going to delete them. And I'm going to delete them, and I'm going to delete them, okay? And then I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to check my answer, and let's see, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. You don't know how happy I am. It says, excellent, next question. I'm just kidding with you guys. I knew I was going to get it right. Okay, but anyway, just wanted to give you an idea, show you exactly how you're going to do it when you're doing your problem on my math lab, okay? So just wanted to show you how we did that. And so let's come back to our notes. Okay, now, here's our next problem. It says, given the points 6, 7, 2, -5, and -4, 3, find the coordinates of the images of these points under each of the following transformations. Okay, part A says the x-axis. So again, let's just remind ourselves, this is the x-axis, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to plot each of these points. So the point 6, 7 means go to the right 6 and up 7. Okay, 2, -5 means go to the right 2. Go to the right 2 and down to -5. Okay, And the point negative 4, 3 means go to the left 4 and up 3. Okay? So we are using this here as our mirror line, our line of reflection, okay? So now this point is going to be down here. This point is going to be right there. And this point is going to be over here, okay? So now we're going to say, well, look, the coordinates for this point are going to be 6, negative 7. The coordinates for this point are now going to be 2 and 5. And the coordinates for this point are now going to be negative 4 and negative 3. So what I want you to notice, let's come back here. Let's look at each of the coordinates that we used to have. And now let's look at the coordinates of the points that we came up with, okay? So when I look at the first point, 6, 7, what changed? Well, the x-coordinate didn't change, but the y-coordinate changed, right? And what changed in the y-coordinate? The sign. We used to have a positive 7, now we have a negative 7, okay? So the same thing here. Look, 2, negative 5, the x-coordinate didn't change. What changed? The y-coordinate. What changed in the y-coordinate? Just the sign, okay? Same thing here with this one, negative 4 and positive 3. The x-coordinate didn't change, just the y-coordinate changed, right? Okay, so we did part A, check. Now let's do part B, a reflection in the line y equals x. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, I want us to think about what does the line y equal x look like? It means that we're going to have points, sorry, my pen freezes up, along this diagonal here, okay? Oh, it's freezing again. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this so that I can get an accurate picture of what my line is going to look like. Okay. All right, and now we're going to connect the dots. Okay, perfect. So now that I have that, I want to come back and look, what were my points again? Let me just write them down first. 6, 7, 2, negative 5, and negative 4, 3. Okay, so the point 6, 7 is going to be right 6 and up 7 right there. Okay. 2, negative 5 was to the right 2 and down to 5 right here. And negative 4 and negative 3 was right there, okay? So now we are reflecting it across this line. This blue line here, that is my mirror. So I'm going to use green. This point is now going to end up over there. So if I were to look at the coordinates of that point, the coordinates of that point would be the point 7 and 6, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing for this red point down here. I'm going to kind of draw, just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing. Oh, that looks horrible. So I can do that a little bit better. Kind of drawing a little dotted line. And let me see. Trying to get to like right here-ish. Okay. So there's that point, and the coordinates of this point is now, I think I went a little too high. Oops, where's my eraser? Erased too many things. Come back and draw this again. All right. So here, right there, okay? So the coordinates of this point now is negative 5 and 2. And same thing here. This point here is going to come over here. And the coordinates of this point now are negative 3 and negative 4. Okay. So let's take a look here. You know what? When I did the red point, I messed it up. It should have been negative 4 and positive 3. I went negative 3. Oops, that's why. Keep erasing that line. Sorry, guys. Something didn't seem right there. Okay, so then let me erase this little business here. Okay, I need to plot this point again. -4 and +3, -4 and +3 will be right there. Okay, so now come down here, and here's my new point. So the coordinates of this point here is 3 and -4. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to do a little stare and compare. Okay, let's take a look at the first point we had, 6, 7. Look at the mirror image, 7, 6. What did we do? We switched the x and the y. Okay, 2, -5, -5, 2. -4, -3, or -4, +3, I'm sorry, 3, -4. So now we have an idea. What are we trying to do? When I'm going to flip about the x-axis, change the sign of the y. And then when we're going to reflect about the line y equals x, we're going to say, we're going to switch the x and the y, right? And so now I kind of have an idea of what it is I'm trying to do. Okay. So let's take a look here. And so it says, find the equation of the images when the following lines, when the reflection is around the x-axis. So remember what we said, when we're doing around the x-axis, we're going to change the sign of the y, okay? So I'm going to do part B first because I think part B first is going to be a little easier for us to understand. I want to graph the line y equals 6. So the line y equals 6 is a horizontal line that crosses right here at 6, okay? I'm reflecting it across the x-axis. So if you were to think about this as a piece of paper, and you could fold that paper across that line like you're going to make a paper airplane, right? And if you color this in with your pencil or your pen really, really hard, and then you pressed when you folded it across, then that's the image we would have, right? And the line here would be y equals -6. What did we do? We changed the sign of the y, okay? We changed the sign of the y. So I'm going to show you, we're going to do the same thing here. Without me having to draw anything, if I have y equals -x minus 5, what are we going to do now? We're going to change the sign of the y. So I'm going to write y equals -1, this is how I changed my sign, times -x minus 5, which is what we originally had, right? And so now we're going to end up with, let's multiply, a -1 times a -x is a +x, a -1 times a -5 is a +5, right? Okay. Alrighty. So here's another problem. Again, these are problems that you have in your homework, and it says, find the image of the given quadrilateral and a reflection in the line shown. Okay, so they already give me the line of reflection. It's this line right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reflect everything about that line. What that means, I'm going to kind of take this point right here, and it would probably end up with being, say, right over there, right? And then this point over here would probably end up over there. So that's what that side is going to look like. And then this point here probably end up right about there. And this point here would probably end up with somewhere over there. And I would have that, and this, and this. And then I would say, okay, out of the pictures that I have, which one, oops, let me do this all in red. Which one looks most similar to what I've drawn? And in this case, I would probably choose C, right? That would be my answer. Okay. All right. And so the next one here says, find the image of the given figure under reflection across the mirror line M. Okay. So here's my mirror line M. So let's do it this way. Let me get my pen. It's freezing up one more time. There we go. So this point here would be now, oh, come on. This point here would now be over here. That would be B prime, right? And C would be right here. So be C prime. So that piece is going to look like that. My A here is going to go right over there. That's going to be my A prime. And my D here is going to be right here. That's going to be my D prime. And that's going to be my picture. So I'm going to look which one of these here looks like what we've drawn, and I would say choice A. Okay, choice A. All right. And tell you what, we're going to skip this one here. So we're going to go skip, and let's just do one more. Here we go. Across the line M. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing type of here, right? This point here is 2 spaces above, so I'm going to go 2 spaces down. This one is 1 above, so I'm going to go 1 space down, and that's going to connect that piece there. Okay. This piece here is 1, 2 spaces above, so it's going to go 1, 2 spaces here. And this is 1 space down, so that's going to go 1 space down. That'll look like that. These will be connected here. Okay. Let's see what else. So we moved this point, this point, this point, and this point. We got to move this one. This one's going to come down 1, so it'll go right here. Okay. Let's see, and that's going to look this way. Okay. And let's do the same thing over here. This is 1, 2. Let me see, 1, 2, 3 up. So 1, 2, 3 over here. So this point just moved over there. Okay. And let me see. Let me erase some of this mess here because we're not using it. Using that. Okay. And let me see. This one is down here, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 up. That's going that way. And this is 1 down, so it's going to come 1 down. So we are ending up with something that looks kind of like this, and like this. And so now I'm going to start looking at my picture and seeing which one looks most like this here. And at this point, I would say C looks like it's going to resemble that one the most, okay? And that is 14.2.